stocks here that look to be good ones. TDC looks to have made a head and shoulders bottom here, and this was kind of a bull flag left or right shoulder, excuse me, and today's gap up is closing. It looks like it might close above the 10-10 bands. The 10-10 bands are pointing up, so this is all bullish action. Now, a hook up by the 14-day stochastics would also be good when that happens. So right now it looks like TDC is heading higher. That's a good one to take a look at if you're interested in buying that one. CTXS, this just has a beautiful chart on it. It looks like a cup with handle, and it looks like it's breaking out of the handle. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting on these cup with handles is normally this high on the left hand side, the handle will be below that, so that's something to look for to see a good cup with handle. And just everything looks good about this stock right now. CTSX, it made full bars above the bands, which that kind of says it's an uptrend on the bands. The bands are pointing up, they're in an uptrend. So, and then today it's closing above the bands on a gap up, and the stochastic shows the momentum's up. It did come down here on the handle, but now the red line is hooking above the green, and that's bullish. So it looks like higher prices ahead for CTXS. Okay, now I think the rest of these, oh no, we'll look at, I'm kind of putting the higher price ones first here. We'll look at Starbucks. That's one I've been kind of pitching a lot. I've had charts on my site, and we went long in the premium newsletter, and I just think this stock's at a low here. I think this has made a base here. It looks like a head and shoulders. Here's the shoulder, here's the head, and then here's the right shoulder. We came down in like a bull flag test of the low, and it's made a higher test of the low. That's bullish. That means the buying's increasing. And then today with the gap up, I just think a low's in for Starbucks. Again, if it closed back above the bands and the stochastics hooks up, that will be more bullish confirmation. But right now, just the looks of the chart pattern, this looks like it's heading higher. So Starbucks is one to really take a good look at. Now we'll take a look at some lower price stocks. I think I got some lower price ones here too. AMPE. That's been that's a $5. Well, actually, yeah, $5.24 right now, and you can see how it's just the bands have just moved kind of nice angle up. It's above the bands here, and today's gap up on a wide trailing bar, that probably suggests higher prices ahead, and I would look for higher prices ahead in this stock. Again, the stochastics is bullish. It shows the momentum's up, and I think this one's heading higher. Now here's a good, this is a classic stock, an old time classic or whatever you want to call it, one of the stalwarts. AA, Alcoa Aluminum. It looks like a pretty clear head and shoulders bottom here too, and as you can see, the bottom came in on the stochastics divergence. The stochastics, the red line is hooking up above the green line, which is bullish. It gapped up today, and a close above the bands would be bullish, and then a few bars above the bands. If it starts trading above the bands, that will be bullish. Now right here, it never really made one full bar above the bands here. This looks like it might have been above the bands, but when you look at the numbers, that was actually, the band was the exact same as the low, 871 and 871. So sometimes, like this one, I would just buy just on the chart pattern, the head and shoulders bottom, and just everything looks good, and the gap up and everything. But sometimes it's better to wait for a few bars above the bands, 2 or 3 bars above the bands, and to see a little air between the bands, because that is just a sign of strength, and that helps as a little extra confirmation that the buyers are totally in control of the stock. So, you know, however you'd want to play this one, you could buy it on the head and shoulders, you could buy it because of the gap up, you could buy it just because it's a low price, and this stock is, you know, for this stock hasn't been this low for a long time, and it just looks like it's heading higher. Or you could wait and then wait for it to get up here somewhere and break above the head and shoulders neckline. That's always a good place to buy, when it breaks the neckline. A lot of times people won't want to wait to buy on higher prices, but in reality, often that will be better to do because it confirms the low is in, and usually that's where the stock takes off. So let's see, the neckline breakout would be about 9.10 a share. Usually you go 0.10 above the high. The high, it looks like, was $9 on this bar. So I draw a line across here, and 9.10 a share would be a good buy point for AA. Then you could put your stop at the low, which would be 821. 820 would be a good place to stop. You could put the stop below this low, which would be is 828, so like 827. However you wanted to play it, that's just a couple suggestions. Okay, DUSA. This is one we're looking to buy in the premium newsletter. We haven't bought it yet, but actually it's breaking out right now. So my premium newsletter buy was right in here. So we should just be getting filled along on this right now. And again, this is made a head and shoulders base. It looks like today's the day with the head and shoulders bases. And we had a nice wide range bar here, kind of a test of the low, and now it's moving above this bar. Again, it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to wait for a breakout above this bar or wait for a few bars above the bands. Again, it's just kind of however you want to play it. But the 14-day stochastics is pointing up, so it shows the momentum's up. And the stochastics did make a bullish divergence at the bottom, which is again a good sign that the low's in. So everything looks good for DUSA, and I think those are all stocks that really look like they're heading higher. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find it profitable, and thanks for listening. This is Jim, ProfitTrading.com.